Hello, everyone. I'm Keller Davis, and today I'm going to be discussing the critical but often overlooked topic, the hidden impacts of seed oils and ultra-processed foods across the world. Seed oils are everywhere. They're in our kitchens, our restaurants, and nearly every processed food that we consume. While they've made production cheaper and more accessible, their widespread use comes with serious consequences for the environment and our health. Today I'm going to be walking through their rise in the world and consumption from humans, also going over their nutritional impacts and the steps we can take to hopefully reduce their harmful effects. By the end, I hope you'll leave with a better understanding of how these toxic ingredients affect our health and what we can do to make better food choices. The topic of seed oils and ultra-processed foods directly connects to this class, Cultural Geography, by illustrating how globalization and popular culture shapes food systems, cultural diets, and public health across different regions. The widespread adoption of seed oils represents a shift from the traditional and local food practices to the new industrialized global food production. This transformation impacts not only what people eat, but also their health, while affecting cultural traditions and mainly their environment. After listening to this lecture, you can understand how economic forces like big food processors and creators like Pepsi, and also media shifts like Instagram and TikTok and all that sort of stuff have influenced the human-environment interactions on a global scale. So I hope you enjoy. You might ask, what are seed oils? Well, seed oils are derived from some soybean, sunflower, rapeseed, and palm oil. They've become staples in kitchens worldwide. They are a product of industrial farming, which uses cheap crops like soybeans and sunflowers to produce oils at a low cost. These oils are extremely versatile, appearing in processed foods, frying oils, and in products like butter and snack foods. Companies love them because they're inexpensive to produce and can be marketed as healthier alternatives to animal fats. These oils help extend shelf life and improve texture of many products, making them essential to the food industry that makes so much money. You'll find seed oils in foods like French fries, chips, cakes, muffins, salad dressing, and processed meats. They're often used in restaurants when deep frying, baking, and even grilling. Their stability and ability to cook at high temperatures make them a go-to choice for cooking, preventing foods from burning while also making them taste good. These oils sound like the best thing yet, but when uncovered, you'll never really want to eat them again. So, why are seed oils so harmful when people promote them as a healthier option? So you're going to see in a lot of this lecture that's going to relate back to the omega-6 and the omega-3 fatty acids and how they're supposed to be balanced. But the seed oils and processed foods have caused the ratio to spike. From research, the omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3 fatty acids are both essential polyunsaturated fats, meaning our body cannot produce them and we must obtain them through our diet and what we eat directly. Omega-6 fatty acids, commonly found in seed oils like soybean and sunflower, play a role in cell structure and energy, but can promote inflammation, which means making you fat and very unhealthy when they're consumed in excess, and a lot of times they are. In contrast, the omega-3 fatty acids found in fish, flax seeds, walnuts, they reduce inflammation, they support brain, heart, and joint health. So maintaining a ratio of these fats is very important for optimal health. These issues with seed oils lies in their high content of omega-6, the ones that we were talking about earlier, that lead to inflammation. And then right here, they also lead to chronic diseases like heart disease and cancer, which has been historically the leading death cause of most humans around the world. Historically, humans have consumed the omega-6 and omega-3 fats in a balanced ratio, meaning of 1 to 1. As you can see, found recently, that since the rise of industrial processing and seed oils and foods, the ratio is often as high as 16.7 to 1. This imbalance produces chronic inflammation, which means you can see it in today's world how the average American is usually overweight, causes diabetes, all this stuff. And it's the main source of all these problems. So you might be wondering, why does this matter in the world today? It's really not just a personal health problem, it's a global problem. For example, the U.S. has one of the highest obesity rates in the world, and it's probably due to our widespread consumption of seed oils and ultra-processed foods. These habits are seriously taking a toll on our public health. In restaurants, they're always cooking with vegetable oils, including frying. One review says that frying foods is not linked to a risk of cardiovascular disease, but it's to the oils they're fried in. So, when restaurants are frying their foods, usually in canola or some sort of vegetable oil, these are going to increase the cardiovascular disease risk because of the omega-6 fatty acids that are in them. So, restaurants need to try and find restaurants that are frying in beef tallow or some sort of animal fat, and so that you can get those essential omega-3 acids that optimize our balanced ratio. And then going back to the environment, the high temperatures, the moisture, and air exposure degrade the oil, leading to oxidation byproducts that affect oil quality. But even with the environmental, the economic concerns of the gross margin of the food industry is just overriding all health concerns, and there has to be something that the public can do to try and get restaurants to move like back in the old days with butter, beef tallow, all that sort of stuff. Then another fact that I read was, as the U.S. population continues to age, the number of adults with chronic diseases is expected to grow significantly. Researchers used data from 1998 to 2018 to develop a model predicting health trends for those 50 years and older. By 2050, this group is projected to increase by 61%, including those having at least one chronic condition, nearly doubling from 71.5 million in 2020 to 142.7 million. The number of individuals with multiple chronic conditions will also rise by 90%. These increases will impact all racial groups, with more than 60% of non-Hispanic whites, blacks, Hispanics, and other racial groups projected to face chronic conditions by 2050. So, why does this matter to me? I got into it my freshman year, and it changed my whole entire life. You can sort of see from these two pictures comparing my freshman year to my sophomore year, just my face structure and overall health. You can see in this freshman year picture, my skin's not clear, it's all red. Sophomore year, my face looks way more clear, face structure is more defined, and everything else. Lost a lot of weight. I dropped my waist size from 36 to 31 inches in 1 year. I also used to get sick all the time, being in college, around all these new people, when I was eating all these processed foods and seed oils. But now my immune system has just become so much stronger. I'm not getting sick as much, and I feel just a lot better all the time. Another thing that it helps my focus. I've noticed improvements of my focus and performance in school, all thanks to prioritizing my gut health and trying to cut out these inflammatory seed oils that have taken over the world and affecting everyone else. So this slide is going to be comparing the health of Americans to everyone else. So this chart is showing the 33.8% of people in America are severely obese. And then we're going to be comparing this to Italy, which is down at the very bottom. So in the United States, where they take up 60%, where seed oils take up 60% of our calorie intake, researchers analyzed staple food products from the U.S. supermarkets like Walmart, Target, Whole Foods using FAO guidelines, and found that 58% of staples in U.S. supermarkets are ultra-processed foods containing 41% more additives. Walmart and Target have significantly more ultra-processed foods and additives than Whole Foods, which is kind of a premium retailer. So when going to get groceries, try and avoid those places. Coming from this study, it shows the abundance of processed foods in the U.S. It complicates our healthy eating. So this chart shows the United States has an obesity rate, obviously, of the 33.8% among global nations. But this is China is not pictured. They are actually higher than us. They are very unhealthy in China. But the United States is surpassing the next country by 7.4%. One of the major factors to this alarming statistic is the consumption of seed oils. The prevalence of seed oils in everyday food items has been linked to the growing obesity epidemic in the U.S., highlighting a significant dietary concern. Just doesn't it make sense that the United States consumes the most seed oils and we have one of the highest obesity rates in the world? When comparing to Italy, in 2023, the percentage of seed oils consumed is likely to be very low. Most of the oil used is olive oil, which we were kind of talking about earlier, how it's a good omega-3 fat. It says Italians consume over 90% of their cooking, they use olive oil. meaning their percentage of seed oils consumed is likely less than 10%. And so it's just kind of aligns to me in how the Italians are not using as many seed oils, they're using real olive oil, and how the obesity level is so much lower. So where did all these seed oils come from? This is kind of the globalization effect of seed oils. So seed oils became part of the food supply in the early 1900s, originating from an unexpected source, Procter & Gamble, who's a large food company. They're in search of the cost-effective alternative to animal fats. They began mass producing cottonseed oil, which is a byproduct of cotton farming. This previously discarded waste was refined and repurposed, ultimately finding its way into the food industry. Procter & Gamble even established a subsidiary to oversee its production, making the beginning of seed oils worldwide use in both industrial applications and processed foods. The globalization of seed oils played a major role in their widespread use. As global trade grew, seed oils became more accessible thanks to their low production costs and their long shelf life. Countries around the world, especially in the U.S., have seen seed oils become staples in the food production. Palm oil, for example, even is now found in Africa, Asia, and Latin America due to its low cost and the long shelf life that they're getting from these oils. So how has popular culture affected the widespread of seed oils and how they're getting everywhere? They play a large role. The media often promotes seed oils, often through advertisements and media. These oils are marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to animal fats. They also have celebrity endorsements and food influencers further perpetrating the idea that seed oils are a healthy option. And it's mainly because of the zero-calorie and non-stick, all this stuff. The biggest example that comes to mind whenever I'm sort of thinking it is the Pam oil. You see Pam oil in almost every kitchen. Pam oil is marketed as a vegetable oil, but it's truly pure canola oil. And that is one of the ones that is high in that omega-6 that really causes the inflammation. And so many believe they're cooking for their health by having those low calories and the non-stick and it being so easy, but they're really affecting their health negatively. So kind of what we were talking about with the popular culture, this is an advertisement from Pam from a long time ago saying the pure vegetable oil, it's canola oil. Sadly, I couldn't get the whole video to come up on the screen, but I got the sound bit of it.
Hi, I'm Carmelita Pope. Do you know how many different sticky cooking problems you can solve with Spray Pam? Spray this pure vegetable coating and meatloafs won't stick. Gelatin molds slip out easier. Hash browns scoop out. Chops won't stick. And with Pam, you can practically rinse pans clean. This shows you dozens of other ways Pam stops food from sticking. Use Pam and eliminate sticky cooking problems.
So, for people who don't know this person, this is Joe Rogan. He's a well-known comedian, actor. He commentates on the UFC as well, but he's most known for his podcast called The Joe Rogan Experience. It's one of the most influential platforms and most listened to podcasts in the United States. And in this clip, he kind of gives his testimony on the carnivore diet. Carnivore diet is basically meat, eggs, seafood, just really restrictive fish and butter. So it's very restrictive, but it's very beneficial for your health. And I'm sorry for the profanity he uses, but this is a good testimony.
Yeah, because like some people are just
like what is energy?
Like I was thinking that. Like I always think of that. Like I switched to back carnivore diet. You know, I go back and forth on that. And for the most part, I mostly meat and fruit,
some vegetables. That's like most of my diet.
That's like most of my diet. Occasionally I go crazy, like we were in the Bronx. We went to this Italian deli and these giant sandwiches.
But that's a rare deviation of my path.
I had this moment. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. Where I was like, you know what? Where I was like, you know what? The best I ever felt. The best I ever felt. The best I ever felt. Literally, the best I ever felt all throughout the day was when I was on the carnivore diet. Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that. Let me see what that's like. And one of the things that I saw. And one of the things that I saw, like immediately, for 7, 8 days, I ate nothing but meat and eggs and fat, nothing else. I mean, nothing else. I mean, nothing. I was real strict. My brain was working so much better. It was weird. Like I wasn't searching. Like I wasn't searching for. It was like I had more access to my ability to form sentences. I was thinking clear. It was more effortless to have conversations. I was like, this is very interesting. This is very interesting because this is how I normally feel. How I normally feel. This is like me at my optimum. But I'm able to sustain this multiple days in a row. And I think that a lot of the foods that we eat, foods that have preservatives, a lot of bread and bullshit, and just shitty food. Your body uses so much resources to process that, and it's not real food. It's kind of bad for you, right? And so your body is just like overburdened with this extra work. When you eat clean, I mean, like really, wild game and beef tallow and all that, and eggs. Your body doesn't have any bullshit. So your body is less inflammation. You have less inflammation. You're operating off of ketones essentially, because your body is entering into a ketogenic state. You just feel even like through the whole day. It never felt like at the end of the day there was none of that. So that's mostly on the keto. So that's mostly on the keto diet, carnivore diet. Well, it's carnivore diet. But carnivore, you must reach periods of ketosis. There's a process called.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of heard his side of the story of the carnivore diet and how balanced he felt and how good he felt, energized, all this sort of stuff. And it's also kind of blowing up everywhere. A lot of people you'll see on TikTok are switching to the carnivore diet where they're basically just eating eggs, red meat, ground beef steaks, fish, avocado, just real true fats that are full of omega-3s and benefits you in your health.
Because
Okay, this next one I did an interview with Ty Griffin. Ty has a family friend who is this associate director of strategic accounts of the microbiome at Ferring Pharmaceuticals. The microbiome is confusing, where you might be wondering what it is. From a study, the microbiome refers to the vast communities of microorganisms, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi, that live in and on your body, especially in the gut. The microbes play an essential role in our health, helping with processes like digestion, immune function, and even influence our mood and behavior. Recently, scientists have made huge advancements in understanding these microbes, especially how they affect diseases and overall health. In children, the balance of these microbes is constantly changing, particularly in their early development. Factors like their diet, antibiotics, and even birth method can influence this balance. When this balance is just disrupted, or it can contribute to those inflammatory bowel disease, allergies, or even autism. Researchers are exploring ways to restore the healthy microbiome, such as using probiotics, antibiotics, or even fecal transplants. This growing field of research could soon lead to new treatments for various childhood diseases. So it's very important for doctors to stay up to date on. So Ty's role in this, he plays a crucial role in referring doctors to patients who are severely ill and could benefit from a fecal transplant to restore their gut bacteria. As the understanding of the human microbiome grows, fecal transplants have emerged as a promising treatment for certain conditions where gut bacteria is severely imbalanced. So kind of talking back to that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Coming from his profession, he has a strong passion about what's happening in our country and what Americans are consuming. In the interview, the main point he made was, as the health goes down, the food margin's going up. So the more money the food industry's making, the lower our health is. Food brands have developed a way around the system to make more money by implementing cheaper ingredients, he said, like the seed oils. And Ty is a big believer in the grass-fed, grass-finished cows because they offer superior nutritional benefits compared to those grain-fed cows, because their diet has a lot higher levels of the omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants. So we also talked about historically, before the rise of industrial seed oils, the United States boasted one of the longest life expectancies globally, suggesting a connection between the traditional diet and longevity before seed oils were brought up. And then one cool fact he also mentioned in the last was the alcohol consumption. Comparing it to France, when vodka in the U.S., it often contains higher ethanol levels than the French, potentially causing greater microbiome disruption and compounding health issues tied to dietary and lifestyle factors. So, is there any way seed oils can be incorporated into our diet healthily? Not really. Kind of the short answer is no. It's challenged to incorporate these seed oils into our diet because there's so many processed foods in America. One review says that these foods often contain refined sugars and unhealthy fat, which contribute again to the obesity levels and the diabetes and the heart diseases. So whenever you're cooking, avoid the seed oils because they're, terrible for you. They're harmful ingredients, but most likely the things you're cooking that come from Walmart or Target or one of those big stores, they also have those additives in it. So adding seed oils on top of that is very unhealthy. So you hear all this stuff, so you wonder, what should I be eating? So when cooking, instead of using those seed oils, like a lot of people have talked about, the healthy alternatives, grass-fed butter, beef tallow, olive oil, and avocado offer significant nutritional benefits. One study said grass-fed butter is rich in healthy fats like omega-3s. The beef tallow often provides a healthy saturated fats and essential vitamins like A, D, and K, and it boosts our immune function. The olive oil is high in monosaturated fats and promotes our heart, and reduces our chronic disease risks. And then the last one is the avocado oil, which is rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and it affects the skin and brain health. So it's kind of referring back to what I was talking about earlier with my own health. I use a lot of avocado oil and olive oil ever since I kind of started this whole sort of kick. And you could see the difference in my face structure, skin. So what I'm preaching is not a lie. So, since a lot of us are in Stillwater, where can you find stuff like this around here? And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that it's very hard to find, and that you're most likely you're going to have to go to these two places. Surprisingly, Buffalo Wild Wings fries all of their food in beef tallow. And so once you compare, I think Buffalo Wild Wings fries are better than anywhere else because they use that beef tallow. And then going back to all these oils and the grass-fed and finished beef, the butter, avocado oil, olive oil, you can find all these things at Sprouts. It is going to be a bit more expensive than your regular Pam or canola oil, but just try it for a little bit, and I promise that you're going to see a difference. So sort of in conclusion, after watching this lecture, I hope you've learned something and can be more aware of the impact of these seed oils. Just by making more informed food choices, we can work together towards improving our health and well-being. When understanding how these ingredients affect us, it can help our decision-making and what we put into our body. If you go online, this movement is spreading vastly in our country, and you can see other transformations like mine. This is something that the world will not be able to hide for much longer. So I encourage you to go out and give it a try. I promise you will see and also feel a difference in how you look and how you feel. Let's work together in order to make better decisions and create a healthier future for ourselves and our families. Thank you.